Hi guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I just thought I want to do a music theory lesson. I want to nerd out on some music math a little bit. So join me if you like that kind of thing. So I'm going to talk about the frequencies of pitches. Basically, C, the note C, is theoretically and abstractly and all that 1 hertz or 1 cycle per second. It's the unit 1. Like if something's vibrating at 1 cycle per second, it's like something like 7 octaves below middle C, because if the octave above 1 would be 2, because 2 is twice 1. The octave above 2 would be 4. The octave above 4 would be 8. The octave of 8 would be 16, and these are all C's. The octave of 16 hertz would be 32 hertz. An octave above 32 hertz would be 64 hertz. An octave above 64 hertz would be 128 hertz. An octave above 128 hertz would be 256 hertz. And that is middle C. So you count from 1, you go 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. Middle C is 8 octaves above 1 hertz. The frequency is just 1 hertz, 1 cycle per second, which theoretically middle C is then 256 hertz. And let's figure out how we would tune to this sucker. Traditionally, we tune to the note A. And we always say A is equal to A440, and that's speaking of the A above middle C, the A that's a major 6 above middle C, because A is a major 6 above C. But let's figure out the number and what it is and what it should be. So if I take 256 hertz, which is middle C, and I want to go a major 6 above it, which would be the A above middle C. What I do is I have the ratio of a major 6 is a perfect fourth and a major third. And those two ratios get multiplied because they're added. The ratio frequency ratios get multiplied because the intervals are added. So a perfect fourth is 4 thirds. 4 divided by 3. A major third is 5 divided by 4, or 5 fourths. If you multiply the two together, you get 4 thirds divided by 5 fourths, which is 5 thirds, which is the interval ratio for a major 6. So if middle C is 256 hertz, you multiply by 5 and divide by 3, because that's multiplying by 5 thirds. You get a number that is 426.666666. So it's basically 427, which is just about 13 hertz less than A440 that we really tune to. So you can see so whoever chose A440 was off by a little bit. It's too sharp for correctness. But what turns out is that was deliberate, because it was a German Nazi that wanted to change things enough to make us go a little crazy, but not so much that we would revolt and realize something's wrong and go back to what really should be. So what this German musicologist did was say, no, let's not make A 326.666, let's make it A440, and it causes a little dissonance. And let's work back around to what if A is 440, what would C be? Well, let me think here. Let's do that. I'm going to do it as if A is 440, then middle C would be 9 half steps below A440. Middle C is 9 half steps below A440. But in equal temperament, a half step is 2 to the 1/12 power ratio. So if you want to go from A is 440 to C and find out what that is, you multiply 2 to the 1/12 power 9 times, but 9 times by times itself 9 times, which gives you 2 to the 9/12 power, which is 2 to the 3/4, or 2 to the 0.75 power. But since I'm going from A down to C, and it's down 9 half steps, you divide by that ratio rather than multiply it. So the number of the C would be, if A is 440, then if you divide A divided by 2 to the 0.75 power, you get a number that is 261.6255. That's also sharp from what middle C really is, which is 256 hertz. You're sharp by about 5 hertz and a little more. Because the A was sharp, the A shouldn't be as sharp as A440, but when you make it A440, divide by 2 to the 0.75 power. 2 to the 0.75 power is 1.6817. So if you start with A440 and you want to get what C is, you just take 440 divided by 1.6817, which gives you 261.6255, which is the actual practical frequency of middle C once you start with A440. So our middle C on a piano, if it's tuned to A440, is really not middle C, it's sharp. And the A is actually, and if we really were at middle C, A wouldn't be 440, A would be 426.666. But since A is 440, C turns out to be 261.6255, which is sharper than it should be, because middle C should be 256 hertz, which is 8 octaves above the frequency of 1 hertz, which is 1 cycle per second. So love you guys, peace, love, and rock and roll.